Hey guys, welcome back. Orabomb here, bringing you the very first of our hopefully month-long straight of videos. That's going to be the goal, at least, of what's it called? The new set. I can't even remember the new set's name right now. That's how you know I'm really tired. Boundaries Crossed, I believe is what it's called, right? The new set here, a bunch of really new, interesting, and fun decks are coming out of this set, and I decided to start off with Buzzmosa. Now, I will tell you this, because a lot of you guys are probably curious as to what order I chose these decks in. There's going to be everything that you guys probably want to see. The only thing I couldn't fit in the schedule was probably Venomoth, but I'm not super interested in showcasing Venomoth until TCGO comes out. But everything else that's in the set, you'll probably be seeing a deck profile of. So, if you guys have anything in particular you want to see, I still have time to record it whenever this video is going up, so let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like, don't forget, take that like button out for a snack. She loves ice cream, give her that like, you know what I'm saying. Subscribe if you guys want to see a bunch of best of 3 matches, follow it up by the 2 live deck profiles. That's going to be the formula for the month. A best of 3, and then a deck profile for each of the decks. There should hopefully be no repeat decks. And one of the main reasons why I chose Buzzmosa first is because it actually showcases a lot of new cards as far as like supporters go and the Buzzmosa itself, right? So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. And shout out to Limitless as always for giving us these amazing proxies. This deck only has 4 Pokemon, and that is just 4 Buzzmosa. Now, because you're only playing 4 Pokemon, you could probably get away with playing just 3, but 4 is just safe. You know what I mean? Let's go over Pheramosa Buzzwole real quick. Thanks to the Limitless giving us the translations, I don't have to worry about putting like all the extra cards on screen, which is pretty nice for me. But let's go ahead and showcase it. 260 HP tag team GX, which means tag team rules. If it gets knocked out, you have to give up 3 prizes. It's got some interesting attacks here. Jet Punch, like we're used to with regular Buzzwole, except for Grass type energy. So it's a little bit, a little bit more difficult to increase the damage output of Jet Punch, unlike the Fire type Buzzwole, because you have access to Diancie and stuff like that. But it's a consistent 30 damage all around the board that you can spread to put things in range of the Elegant Soul attack, which does 190, but the next time you use Elegant Soul, it only does 60. So essentially you want to switch between Buzzmosas if you're gonna Pheramosa Buzzwole. If you want to be chaining Elegant Soul, but the whole purpose really is to be using Elegant Soul for knockouts, Jet Punches to put things in range of this crazy GX attack, Beast Game GX. There's a lot of text there, so let's see if I can read it. Also, I do want to apologize because there's no mic whenever I record with my phone, the games, because I don't have a way to connect my mic. So no mic, guys. I do apologize about that, but I mean, I think the audio sounds fine without it. You guys told me the last time that we did these profiles that it sounded fine. Let me see. If your opponent's Pokemon gets knocked out by damage from this attack, take an additional prize card. So for 1 energy, if you take a knockout with Buzzmosa, you take an additional prize card. Now that's pretty good on its own. There's a lot of decks I've noticed in Japan that just play a 1-of Pheramosa Buzzwole with like the Unit Energy or Rainbow Energy, because the GX attack is just really strong. Taking an additional prize could be the difference between winning and losing a game. 50 damage is actually a good amount of damage, especially if you do spreads a little bit of damage. You can knock out Jirachis with a little bit of chip on there and stuff like that. So it's a pretty strong GX attack on its own. But if this attack has an additional 7 energies attached to it, you may take 3 extra prize cards. Yeah, 3 extra prize cards. So essentially, you could take game if you knock out a Tag Team GX with this Beast Game GX attack. Now, the cool thing about having just Pheramosa Buzzwole in this deck is that once you lit, which is going to be the strategy of this deck I found quite a bit, once you lit 1 Pheramosa Buzzwole be knocked out, you have access to a bunch of Beast, Ultra Beast cards throughout the game. Ultra Beast is going to be consistently live because your opponent's going to always be at 3 prizes until they knock out another Pheramosa Buzzwole. Lucamine Prism is going to be consistently live. And you could actually manipulate the game to where, like, since you're gonna, if you want to, you have the option to use this GX attack to win the game. So there's gonna be a lot of cases where you're gonna be taking 4 prizes, your last 4 prizes for game. So if you only take 2 prizes from your opponent, and you let your Pheramosa Buzzwole be knocked out, they're going to be at 3 prizes, you're going to be at 4 prizes, which means you have access to cards like Lieutenant Surge throughout the game. That's the cool thing about this deck, is that you can manipulate the prizes to where you're always going to be behind, but that attack team, the Beast Game GX attack, will win you the game even if you're super far behind. So that's the really cool thing about this deck, is that you can manipulate the prizes to how you like to make this work for you. So just 4 Pheramosa Buzzwole. I'm actually going to make it a little bit different this time than I used to, and I'm going to start with the supporters first, because I want to talk about some of the brand new supporters and some of the cool supporters we have in this deck. And we're going to start, excuse me guys, we're going to start with Green Search. I wonder if this is too high up. Oh, whatever. We have 4 copies of Green Search here, and this is kind of like the engine of the deck. This is going to be the engine of a lot of brand new tag team decks, and a lot of decks I'm probably going to profile because I really like this engine. Green Search is a supporter card that lets you play. You can only play a supporter card if you have no abilities in play. So, no Lele's, no Jirachis, none of that shenanigans. You have to have no abilities in play, no Rangaroo, nothing like that. But it's extremely worth it because you can search your deck for any 2 trainer cards, reveal them, put them into your hand. This is really powerful because literally just go, I'm going to use Green Search to find 2 B-strings. In the right turns, this thing will be charged up fully. You can use, what I generally use is throughout the game, I keep 1 Green Search in my hand. So if I ever do need to use the Green Search, I use 1 Green Search to find another Green Search, and then whatever trainer card I need at that time, whether it's like one of the tech trainer cards, whether it's a stadium, whether it's a netball to give me more grass energies. Green Search is extremely powerful in this Buzzmosa deck, because of the fact that you're playing a deck that's relying on this 260 HP behemoth that you could heal with access to Life Force, Max Potion, and we have Acerola as well. So it's easy enough to switch between Buzzmosas and don't let them be knocked out. We also do play Weakness Policy because it is weak to fire with no resistance and a 2 retreat. 2 retreat's not that bad, by the way, something to keep in mind, because if you are going to Max Potion, it's easy to just switch, get this thing out of the active, Max Potion, and then attack with the one that you were probably setting up in the back. But being weak to fire is kind of bad because of Reshiram Charizard being an extremely strong and popular deck in Japan right now. But we play Weakness Policy, which is another thing you can search with Green Search, so it's pretty handy. As far as the other supporters go, we are playing 4 Lily, standard stuff. It is a nice draw supporter. We can thin our hand by quite a bit. Only 2 Cynthia, because once again, this is going to be our main engine this game. So we're going to be using Green Search the turns that we need to. We want to keep our hands big and full of stuff that we could use depending on whatever situation arises. So that's why we are playing only 2 Cynthia and 4 Lily, because drawing is, adding to your hand is way more useful in this deck than shuffle drawing. 3 Guzma, we really only need 3. I don't think we need more than 3. So we're going to be playing 3 Guzma. And now then another new card, Lieutenant Surge's Strategy. This is another one of those cards that caused quite a commotion when it came out. You only play this card if you have more remaining prize cards than your opponent. You can play 3 supporter cards this turn, including this one. So, like I mentioned earlier, it's easy enough to put yourself in the back foot by letting a Pheramosa Buzzwole be knocked out. Excuse me. Which activates your Lieutenant Surge's Strategy pretty much for the rest of the game until you win it. Because at that point, you're just going to continue jet punching, putting damage on the board, putting things in range of that Beast Game GX. And since throughout the game you'll have access to your B-strings, you don't even need to worry about playing your B-strings like right away, or like finding your B-strings right away. All you need to worry about is guaranteeing the fact that you have game by stalling as long as you can and using the jet punch attack to put things in range until you can guarantee that like 4 prizes, 5 prizes, even 6 prizes. It's an extremely strong attack, extremely strong supporter, an extremely powerful deck. Extremely powerful deck. I will say that in our testing games that we played just to practice with the decks, I was playing the Persian deck, as you guys know. But it took me like a million tries to figure out like how is the best way I'm going to beat this deck. Like I don't know, I don't remember if the deck had 2 wins or 2 losses on my side, but regardless of how many wins or losses I had, the majority of the games that I played practicing against this deck were losses. I think if she did lose, it was because she just had a really awkward hand and start and stuff like that, which can happen in these style decks. Other cards we're playing, 2 Acerola. They didn't come into play too much during the video because of Mr. Mime, and Mr. Mime is a card you have to worry about. So I am considering adding more Max Potions to this deck instead of just having 1 Max Potion, which is, I guess, spoiler, we only play 1 Max Potion, and 2 Acerola. Maybe like 2 or 3 Max Potions because of how annoying that new Mr. Mime, or not new Mr. Mime, the Mr. Mime from the most recent set is because preventing ace rolls against this deck is kind of annoying. But at the same time, if you're jet punching, you can easily just knock out that Mr. Mime. And there's no harm in using your GX attack early if you need to, especially since you have access to that Elegant Soul attack that can just take huge knockouts regardless. Plus with Choice Band, it's not really a big deal anyways. Like, you don't have to play the strategy I'm saying. That's the cool thing about this deck, is that it's very malleable. You can use a GX attack early if you want, and then you could just you can carry with Elegant Soul attacks, which is relatively easy to do once again, because you have access to B-String. But, excuse me, those are just more options for you. Another card I'm playing is 2 Judge, and then one of my favorite cards that I'm so excited I'm playing is the Lusamine Prism. As long as you can only play this card if your opponent has exactly 3 prize cards remaining. Once again, if you are letting them knock out a Pheramosa Buzzwole, they will only have 3 prize cards remaining, which means this card will be live the second you will let your opponent take 1 knockout. Prevent all damage done to your Ultra Beast by attacks during your opponent's next turn. So you get 1 free turn to do whatever you want. Because you only play Ultra Beast in the deck, there's no other targets for your opponent to have. Which means you get a free turn to charge up your hand, maybe try to find another Lieutenant Surge, maybe try to pull off some crazy combos for the following turn. Attach energies for free, and just overall be safe. There is no knockout that's going to happen to you whenever you play Lusamine Prism. So this card right here is what makes this deck so exciting to me. I think it's so cool. Think of this really similar to a Venusaur deck, but less disruption, I want to say. Although you could add disruptive elements to this deck. I really do like the supporters that I'm playing in this deck, and there are quite a few supporters in this deck. Keep that in mind. But I do like the strategy that I have implemented into this deck to be able to take knockouts and stall for as long as you want while setting up the board. I think it's really, really cool. Now we're going to go over the items, and I think we'll save the energies and stadiums for last. We'll see how much space we have. A new card, and which is another reason why we're able to get away with playing cards like Green Search, is Pokegear. This is a card that I've been super hyped for to come back ever since we lost Random Receiver, really. Pokegear is look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose the support card you find there, and put it into your hand. Now, obviously not as strong as Random Receiver. You don't have to reveal your cards, which is, I guess, one good thing, and you only look at the top 7. But if you're playing as many supporters as I am, you'll be able to find a supporter almost every time with Pokegear, and a lot of the supporters that you will find will be useful. So Pokegear is just kind of like, it's kind of like the Lele replacement in this deck, the Oranguru replacement. Like, it keeps you consistent, which is really, really, really strong. So I like the Pokegear. There's no glare, right? It doesn't look like there's any glare. Of course, 4 net balls to give you grass energies and the Buzzmosa. I remember I was playing Nest Ball in this deck, but I found that it was just unnecessary. Net balls just seemed to be taking care of all the work that you needed to take care of. So we're playing 4 net balls in this deck. Of course, it is an Ultra Beast deck, so we will be playing 4 B-Strings. It gets you the 8 energies, because if you just play 2, and you have already a manual attachment or 2 manual attachments attached to a Pheramosa Buzzwole, then that's 8 energies right there. It's actually really, really, really easy to get 8 energies on Pheramosa Buzzwole in this deck, based off like the type of deck that it is. So I do like the B-Strings, but obviously I would like the B-Strings, right? Other cards we're playing, 2 Escape Ropes. It's another way to, excuse me. It's another way to force your opponent to put damage things in the active. Because you're spreading so much damage with Pheramosa Buzzwole, when you play Escape Rope, a lot of the time they're going to be forced into a position where your opponent is either going to let you damage something that won't be knocked out but would be nice to be weakened, or well, you can force a beast game with cards like Escape Rope. It's actually fairly easy to damage your opponent's board to the point to where Escape Rope will become essentially a checkmate kind of cards. As far as our 1-ofs go, 1 Enhance Hammer, just for the overall disruption. 1 Field Blower, same reason. It's just a good card in right now, especially with like probably going to be more spell tags. Choice Bands could be annoying for you. Just some small things like that. Let's see if there's anything else. And then 1 Max Potion. This is another card like I mentioned earlier that I think I want to add a 2 of. If anything, I'd probably drop like 1 Weakness Policy, but I like keeping 2 in the deck, which I guess I should probably go over the tools and stuff now. Well, I guess it's going to be the items. Let's go over the tools, supporters, or stadiums, and energies here. 2 Choice Bands, just nice to have. I like playing 2 of counts of these important cards because they just because of like, I don't want to prize them, and choice band could be the difference between winning and losing. Like at least with this, you can beast game for 80, and 80 could be like a knockout. You don't even have, you can like keep the choice band in the deck or in your hand until like, and make your opponent think, oh, you don't actually play choice band, and then surprise them with a choice band for a beast game for 80 that wins you the game. That could be a relevant strategy as well. 2 weakness policies. There's going to be a lot of fire stuff out there. Reshiram, Charizard, Baby Blacephalon, and just Blacephalon GX. There's a lot of new fire support out there, so I kind of feel like the weakness policy is important. 2 count, maybe even a 3 count, so you don't prize any, because in reality, they only have to take 2 knockouts, so you're probably only going to have 2 Buzzmosas down at a time, so you only really need to have 2 in the deck, but if you prize them, that could be problematic. But with Ace Royals and stuff, and since none of those fire decks have the space to be teching in cards like Mr. Mime, you'll be able to Ace Roll and put the weakest policies back in your deck. Worst case scenario, they play Field Blower, which is why I wanted to add a higher count in there. And I'm playing one choice helmet is there. Reduced damage. It does have a 2 retreat cost instead of a 4 retreat cost, so we can't play the buff padding or whatever that card is called. Choice helmet combined with the Aether Paradise that we're playing a 2 of means that your Buzzmosas take 60 less damage, which could be pretty big. There's a lot of decks that don't do a lot of damage, they just chip down your opponent. It's actually amazing for the mirror match because between Aether Paradise and the Choice Helmet, actually, you can't play the Aether Paradise down in the mirror match, right? Because then your jet punches do nothing, but you can play the choice helmet and now their jet punches does nothing. So for the mirror match, I really like the choice helmet. And of course we are playing 1 life force. Sometimes you just can't afford to heal as much as you would like, but life force can put things out of range. It actually did happen to me quite a bit when I was playing Persian, where my opponent just put down life force and goes, hey, it's late in the game, you no longer have a Guzma target that you can Oko, I win. And that's just literally what happened. And for the energies, we are playing, let's see how many we're playing, I actually don't even remember. 4, 8, we are playing 11 energies. It's easy enough to find the energies. That should keep, like, even if 3 energies are prized, you should still be able to use Beast Game, which is why we're playing so many energies. Overall, I like the count of 11 a lot. I've never seen a situation, except for maybe one time, where there wasn't enough energies to use Beast Game, and that was only because my opponent was being careless and just kept tossing away energies when they didn't need to. With like max potions and stuff like that. So I think the 11 count is really strong. I don't think you need 12, but I think you don't need less than 11 because then you risk prizing too many energies, you risk losing too many energies and stuff like that. But that's going to be the deck, guys. I think Buzzmosa has a place in the meta. There isn't many decks that Buzzmosa will be hitting for weakness right now, but like Lycanroc is still a thing, and it will continue to be a thing because Zoroark Lycanroc will always be a strong deck. I guess Blastoise GX will be a thing as well. I'm not super sure how good Blastoise is because I haven't played it as of the time I'm recording this, but I will be ideally playing it in the next few days, and I can tell you guys whenever we do that deck profile how good Blastoise is going to be. But other than that, I don't know many other things that are weak to grass that are relevant. I guess there's Rhyperior Mill. That could be a thing because Rhyperior Mill is probably going to be pretty strong. That's a deck we're going to be showcasing here soon as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of Pheramosa Buzzwole in the comments down below. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz. Let me know what decks you want to see me play in the future. And like, once again, critique. I love hearing your comments. I have a lot of people that ask me questions all the time in the comment section about why don't I play this, why don't I play that. Sometimes I don't explain everything super properly when recording these videos. I don't have like a notes or anything on me, and sometimes I just can't think of all the things at the same time. So I'm always down to answer any questions. I'm always down to hear what you think would be better, and and remember, but do keep in mind, I will argue. A lot of people don't understand that just because you tell me this thing will be better, I will probably argue against it if I disagree with you. But if I agree with you, I'll just tell you, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. I can't believe I didn't think about that. That's happened to me quite a few times too. But anyways, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with a live deck profile of Persian GX. I really like Persian. Peace.